Hi guys, it's Coach Pat from the Rant. Before we get to the Rant, let's talk a little bit about our sponsor, Premier Football Consulting. These guys do a great job of placing football players throughout the country at great programs from Division I to Division III. No one does it any better. But instead of me telling you about it, how about you hear from the CEO, Nico Pappas? Nico, tell us all about it.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Rant. My name is Nico Pappas. I'm Coach Pappas' son. I'm also the director and one of the founders here at Premier Football Consulting. Our team at PFC has been around for 23 years and is one of the largest football consulting groups in the country, as we've helped over 1,000 players and their family navigate this competitive, confusing, and costly recruiting process in an effort to find a great college fit. Our team consists of 15 former players and coaches that have experience at the FBS level, the FCS and Ivy League level, as well as the small college high academic landscape. Since the advent of the transfer portal, the NIL, and in the post days of COVID, this college recruiting process has become crazier than ever. It's confusing, it's competitive, and most importantly, it's costly. The PFC has stayed on top of all of these trends and has the ability to leverage our experience, our knowledge, and most importantly, our connections at the college level to give our players a huge edge in what will be a very competitive process. So if your son desires to play college football, I highly recommend that you get the help of an expert. When you go to buy a house, you look to hire a real estate agent. It's the same thing with the college recruiting process. When you are about to enter it, you should seek the help of an expert, and that's where the PFC comes in. So if you would be interested in a quick free consultation call, feel free to reach out to me at 617-308-7801 or shoot me an email at nico@premierfootballconsulting.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nico, and thank you, Coach Pap. Now, on to the podcast. Cue the music, baby.
Hey, welcome, folks. Welcome back. Big happenings, especially in Boston.
Not in Boston, right there.
It's our guy. He's our guy. Our own Dan Campbell. Anyways, I'm Coach Pap, co-hosting today. And our co-host, you just saw him. The Dan Campbell wannabe. In case Dan goes down, Danny's ready to call some plays. The great Danny
I'm looking for kneecaps.
We need to get him the play sheet, that
breaking kneecaps. And our producer on spring break, loving life, sleep until 12:45 every day.
Yep.
This loving life, the great Damian Passeja. Welcome, guys. Welcome back.
How are we doing?
What's going on, my man?
Everything's great. Now, guys, the host of our guest today is going to be Senior Vice President of the world champion Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to talk about him. He's a Belmont born and bred. Chris Shea is going to be with us a little later today, and he is a wealth of knowledge. And I'll tell you, right in the middle of the playoffs, but we got him. And by the way, before we get to Vrabel and the guys, how about Borganzi's interviewing for two?
Fantastic.
I saw that.
I don't want to say that. You know what? You come on the Rant, you bing. Bing. It is what it is. So I mean, he's gonna owe us.
Our show is social. Is a social climber for people.
Yeah. It is. We've been climbing on our whole lives. But anyways, all right, Dave. You want to start us all up, buddy?
Oh yeah, man. I've been waiting 2 years for this because last hire circle, I wanted this guy. I feel like most of New England wanted this guy. Let's talk about Mikey Vrabel, baby. Let's talk.
Go ahead, Danny.
I mean, clearly, from a PR standpoint, he's the guy they had to get. I mean, it's a PR hit home run. People loved him as a player, because they could relate to him. He wasn't the most skilled guy around, but he was like a hard-nosed type player, and he was very relatable. He goes to Tennessee, and team that hasn't had much success, and he was very good there. And part of me is always going to feel badly for Mayo. I think he got put into a bad situation, but it is what it is. You're judged by your record, and the record wasn't good, and it wasn't just the record wasn't good. The product was terrible. So I mean, you had to pull the plug.
Well, I think Gerard Mayo probably got about $30 million for taking the hit. So I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so let's. But Vrabel and Dame, you're living proof of it. I mean, the excitement in New England. What is crazy, guys, in my opinion, is that this one move literally goes 180 and puts the franchise right back where we thought it should be. And I mean, Danny, not only he was coach of the year at Tennessee.
Right.
I mean, so he did some amazing things down there. You know, had run-ins with the owner and the general manager, cut loose, did the right thing in my opinion. Took a year off, was in the background with the Browns, just recharging his battery. And I'll tell you what, he's winning the interview awards already. I'll tell you, everyone's loving it, and he's got that great sense of humor. He's a wise guy, just like you, buddy.
I'll take that as a compliment. But yeah, I mean, certainly. I think people now. He's here, but let's get to the basics. This is not a very good team. The guy who was here last year won 4 games. The guy before him, who we'll debate about, and I'll still say he's the best coach in NFL history, he won 4 games. Okay, clearly there's a talent issue here. Now, I mean, I want to see if guys are going to flock to Foxborough because of this guy. I mean, that remains to be seen.
You bring up a great point, Danny. He will get these guys to play hard. I mean, I think you guys, you and Damian are right there. I mean, the whole locker room, the rumors coming out of the locker room with bullshit and everything like that. Listen, Vrabel's going to get them to play hard. But with that, guys, comes with the fact that he's a hard ass. Mm-hmm. I mean, he don't take shit from anyone.
Right.
So the guys really, you hit it right in the head, Dan. How many guys want to get coached hard these days? I mean, is the NFL becoming the NBA? I don't know, but the proof is going to be in the pudding because he's got the biggest cap. Am I correct? The biggest cap space in the league.
Yeah,
yes.
Around 130 million.
Yeah. So I mean
there's going to be good players out there. I mean, does T. Higgins want to get pushed? I don't know. You tell me.
I would be I know he's the nice shiny object. We need a receiver. He's a receiver. My concern is he a number 1 receiver? Mm-hmm. I mean, the quarterback he's got in Cincinnati is pretty good.
Yeah.
The wide receiver, the number 1 wide receiver in Cincinnati, he's pretty good.
Right.
I mean, is he, not to disparage him, because he may well be a number 1 guy in waiting. But do I want to throw 30-35 million a year at a guy like that? And that's what it's going to cost. Mm-hmm. I mean, Brandon Ayuk, the Patriots offered 31 million. Higgins is better than Ayuk.
Yeah.
Now, not that I'm sure Vrabel is watching right now. If they're going to spend money, I would love to see them go after a couple of linemen.
Yes.
Because you look at there's 2 good 3 actually.
2 really good ones. Yes.
You got Ronnie Stanley from the Ravens. You've got Cam from what do you call it? Minnesota. Cam Robinson, and then you got, I think, Trey Smith was with the Chiefs. I mean, if they could get 2 of 3 of those guys, and you got David Andrews coming back.
Yep.
I still think Mike Onwenu, if you put him at one position and leave him at one position, I think he's serviceable.
Yes.
And maybe Cole Strange, they squeeze something out of him.
Yeah, and Cole Strange is a tough dude. I mean, I think he'll battle for you. You bring up great points there. And when we talk the next segment, we talk about the NFL playoffs.
Right.
Teams are running the football. I mean, let's face it. I mean, listen, Detroit ran the ball the last game.
Absolutely.
I mean, Detroit is running the football, but you say my friends, I got a lot of Buffalo fans on here, but I'll tell you what, I don't want to play the Ravens the way Derrick Henry's running the ball.
Hell no.
A little zone read with Lamar. Are you kidding me?
Nightmare.
I mean, and I still, when they take the MVP vote away from Akiba Agubada and give me the MVP vote, I'm voting for Saquon Barkley because that he has turned that franchise exactly where they should be going because Jalen Hurts stinks. He stinks, but it is what it is. So But so I agree with you, Dan. I mean, New England, let's go out and let's build. You know, Bob Almeida, he can't wait to draft a tackle from LSU. I mean, he can't wait. I mean, it's
My concern is I don't know if they're as good as the kid last year. The top
Mhm.
lineman was the kid from Notre Dame who the
Joe Wall.
Chargers pounded on right away.
right.
I don't know. I'm not Dante Scarnecchia here. I don't know
Yeah.
if Will Campbell is the guy.
Yeah.
Kelvin Banks is the guy. I mean, to me, if I'm picking fourth and I'm the Patriots and he's on the board and they let Abdul Carter go by,
Yes.
they would be
Danny,
insane.
great
He's the
shout
best
out right there.
He's the best player in the draft.
I couldn't believe what I was watching against Notre Dame. I
One
mean, I
hand,
was rooting
one
for Notre
arm.
Dame,
He's
but then I
playing with
was
one
like,
arm.
Dude, I am
He's
so with you,
injured.
Danny.
He's
You know, he's
every
Fort
play.
Lauderdale. Danny, he's Fort Lauderdale. He's not.
That I did not know.
Oh no, he's a Fort Lauderdale kid. You know,
Yeah.
my buddy coached at St. Thomas Aquinas and watched the game, and he texts me the rejection letter the kid getting into St. Thomas Aquinas. How about that? Watching that thing happen, crazy. Oh, Danny, I agree with you. I mean,
Especially the way the NFL is on defense, you got to have somebody who can get the quarterback.
Yes.
no, you are 100% right. I mean, there are so many options to go with. I mean,
Sure.
we talked O-line. You know, we got the kid from the receiver from Colorado. We got
Now, let me ask you this. Have you seen the receiver from Arizona? I have not seen him.
little.
I mean, he's
Very
good. He's a
little.
good player. I mean, he's a good player, but I mean,
Crazy
I don't think he's the same.
If Carter's off the board and you're picking fourth, and you had to pick between Travis Hunter or the kid from Arizona, who are you picking?
I'm picking Travis Hunter, but I'm going to
picking
tell you one
Travis.
thing. Then I'm going to fire this at you and don't kill me. I'm not opposed to picking Tyler Warren, number 4, the tight end from
Ooh.
Penn State.
Little
I
bit
just
of a
think
stretch,
He's
but
pretty
he's
special. Again,
tall.
going back to the way the NFL is going. I mean, all the
Danny.
teams still there have tight ends.
Danny, let's remember, and no one loves. I know Brady's not your number one Christmas card. I understand that, but Gronkowski, what he did for that team, and Tyler Warren's a close. I mean, Brock Bowers, by the way, first team All-American. First
Bowers
first
is
team
special.
All-Pro.
He's fantastic, but he doesn't even block. This kid Warren blocks and receives. I mean, I don't want to see people jumping. I don't want anyone doing the Chucky Stewart off the Tobin Bridge if they go out and they draft
Yeah,
this kid.
I'll tell you what, it wouldn't, he's probably not a position of need, but I mean, he's good. I mean, they need players. I mean, they need players.
We just
So
need best available. That's what I
So
think.
to
Best
your
available.
point, they go 2 offensive linemen in free agency. Okay. And you can play anyone running back. That's no big deal. They got Steven did.
I mean, they're serviceable.
Of course, yeah. Listen, running backs are a dime a dozen. I
Right.
mean, a dime a dozen. That's why they don't get paid anymore. And then you put Warren at tight end. Okay, you grab a free agent wide receiver somewhere. I mean, I think you're in business. I mean, we're talking offensively, but you're right about Carter. I mean, so. What do you think he's going to do with coordinators? Defensively, he's probably going to run the defense himself, but he says he doesn't. What do you think they're going to do on offense?
I got to think of McDaniels again. Going back to the PR, he would be the logical PR guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he makes the most sense. I mean, I don't know who else is out there that would move the needle, that would excite. I know you hear Tommy Rees. I don't know much, about him.
Yeah. The problem with McDaniel, people don't talk about it, is McDaniel still got 4. I think he's got 4 years left on the Raiders contract.
So, which would make him more appealing because you can bring him here. You don't have to pay him.
Well, this is my point. It's funny. One of my buddies' kids plays pickleball with him all the time down in Dedham, and it says he's a fantastic guy. I don't know Josh McDaniel, but he says he's a fantastic guy. But I mean, do you want to give up that life? I mean, he's making head coach money playing pickleball. So he's not going to make a dime for the Patriots.
Yeah, but I think he would but he's still going to get paid. So
He's
you're
still
getting head coach
Mike
money to be an
working.
offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why Belichick brought in Judge and Patricia, because he didn't have to pay them.
But those guys, I mean, again, how old do you think McDaniel is?
I don't think he's 50.
It's going to be an interesting decision for the guy because, again, he's sitting at home. does he really want to get into this rat race life? And it's a tough life. I mean, it's
Yeah,
tough.
but my sense is, I think it's the Chip Kelly approach. It's you don't want to be the head coach anymore, but being an offensive coordinator, you don't have the headaches.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of with McDaniels. You don't have to be the head coach.
Yeah, maybe.
And he's got Drake May. I mean, something he can work with.
I know. But I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying.
No, I know where you're coming from. I mean, valid points, absolutely.
I mean, you're making $10 million
You're asking
a year.
me, would I do it if I had 4-year contract left with the Herald, and they're going to dump me today, and I could go work for the Globe? I'd say, no, I'll stay home. You can pay me.
You making $10 million a year at the Herald?
Nah, that was my last contract.
I love it. Hey, Dave, transition. Where we going next, Dave?
All right, guys, staying on the topic of the NFL, let's continue as the playoffs progress through. We are finished with round 1, baby. Wild card weekend is over. Is now on to divisional. Let's talk, fellas.
What do you got, Danny?
I mean, I don't know if you caught the big news that Aaron Glenn
No.
arrested for murder.
Yeah.
He murdered the career of Sam Darnold.
Oh, that.
He finished him. He took him down, and then the Rams finished him off. This guy may have lost, and I mean, more than that, I think. I mean, he probably lost close to $100 million in 2 weeks.
Not been a good 2 weeks.
It's also a good move this works out good for the Patriots, because if Darnold had played well, there was going to be pressure on Minnesota to keep him and maybe trade McCarthy, which means one of those teams picking up near the top would be trading for him, which makes the Patriots pick not as valuable. But I think at this point now, unless they franchise Darnold for a year until McCarthy's ready, I mean, who's going to sign him?
Well, I mean, people will sign him, but not for the kind of money.
Not with it 2 weeks ago.
No, not even close. No. But he'll get signed, and again, I still stand by what I said about Joe Milton. I really truly believe. I think the Patriots are going to get a lot for him. Maybe
if
I'm
they
wrong.
could get a 2, I'd be shocked. But I'll tell you, if they could get a 2 for him, that would be something.
You look at these quarterbacks. I mean,
yeah,
right now the kid at Mississippi. Jackson,
I like him a lot.
I like him better than the other 2 guys. I mean,
I'm a Ward guy. I'm not Sanders. I don't know if he translates to the NFL right away.
Yeah,
Ward maybe, but I think
the kid number 1 guy. Yeah. I don't know. But so getting back to the playoffs, I mean, it was fun to watch. I mean, I was talking to Dave before. I mean, we didn't get off the couch. I mean,
no,
10 hours, it's crazy, But you had to say Buffalo was really impressive.
Yep.
I thought Philly was really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Rams, I mean, I don't know if the Rams are going to do what they're going to do. You think kids have no problems with the Texans, correct?
I'd be shocked. I just think they have too much. Plus, they've had the extra week of rest.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What do you think of your Lions, buddy?
I mean, I was hoping Green Bay would have beaten Philly, only because Green Bay is so banged up.
Yep.
Especially at receiver. And had they won, it would have taken Philly out, because I think Philly, in my opinion, I think they're the most talented team in the league on paper.
Yeah.
But, sometimes the coaching intangible kicks in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And again, I think Philly might become a one-dimensional team as it goes further on. I mean, but can you shut down the run game? I mean, they did a decent job.
Yeah, I thought they did. I tell you, I thought Green Bay defensively gave them a chance to win. They had offense, with no receivers, and I was surprised they didn't pull Love.
Oh, really?
I know it would have been a big, but Malik Willis has played very well when he had his chance early in the year. Love is clearly not 100%. I mean,
no.
And why keep him out there?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but again, LaFleur's a good coach, real good coach. But he tends to stick with guys a little longer than other people.
Right.
Yeah. So we got Texas going to be playing the Chiefs. We think that's going to be. How about Jaden Daniels, huh? For the Redskins.
Wow, he's special.
I saw him in person against the Bengals. Wow, is he good? I mean, he's running zone read, and the Bengals have got a guy sitting there in his face, and not one guy in the Bengals. They got good players. They couldn't not only tackle him, they couldn't touch him. I mean, you guys are gonna have your hands full a little bit with that.
No, I agree. I mean, he's gonna be a handful.
Yeah.
I mean, he's tough. I mean, remember we talked last year. Me and you both agreed that Daniels and Joe Alt were the two best players in the draft.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so McLaren's playing well. It's good. He's
really, really good. I mean, he doesn't
I've loved him for so long, and I'm so glad he has a good quarterback throwing to him. Like,
I mean, one thing that Washington's defense is so.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with you.
Not great, and the Lions are going to get Montgomery back this week.
Yeah.
So they get both running backs back. The Redskins Commanders, whoever they are, they're going to be the Redskins in a couple of years.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
But they just the Lions they can run the ball on anybody.
Yeah. Oh no. And they're ready to go. They've
had the week. If they can't beat Washington, then you know what? They were in a legitimate Super Bowl contender in the first place. No, seriously. I mean, it's a game they should win.
I agree with
definitely.
You.
It's a game you definitely should win. What's the
and
spread on that game?
How great is it that Mike Sanders had such a great rookie season for what?
Let's say I'm surprised. I mean,
you love him. That's great.
I do. He's such a good kid.
Yeah.
How about this? That 3 Everett kids in the playoffs, all 3 of them on winning teams.
So what? Did he
got picked up by the Eagles during the week?
Was he on the active roster?
Yes, I believe he was.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be one thing that would be interesting to watch because Philly and the Rams, Nakobe Dean went out with an injury and Slay got hurt. And if he's not healthy, I mean, he's he's a guy that your hero Matt Patricia decided we could get rid of him. He was a great Lion.
I've never been sticking up for Patricia.
I just tried.
Is he down in North Carolina? I don't even know. I don't know what the hell's going on there. The game of the week though, Sunday night.
Oh,
Ravensville.
That's a Super Bowl game in itself.
Wow. Is that going to be crazy? It's unbelievable.
I think if they don't shoot themselves in the foot, I think the Ravens are the better team.
Yeah. They got a better roster.
If they had Zay Flowers, I mean, I don't know if he's playing this week.
I don't know. I haven't heard either.
Yeah, but I mean, with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, I mean, those two guys. I mean, what do you do?
Well, and then you got Likely and Andrews, the 2 tight ends, which I mean, that's the best tight end in the room. That's the best tight end room in the league. George Godsey, Guy Godsey is the tight end coach. It's gonna be wild.
Crazy. How's the weather? Is there going to be any weather issues?
I don't know. Weather's 80 down here, buddy.
Well, they're not playing there though. They're not moving the game.
They're moving the game down here.
I'll give them credit. Last night on short notice, they had 50,000 people at that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic job. They were great. They were fantastic.
Football, baby. They will come.
Well, they follow Matthew Stafford. That's why.
Dave, let's get a couple minutes of NCAA football. Then we'll go to our guest. What do you got, Dave?
All right, guys. We have the NCAA championship cemented. We have Notre Dame and we have Ohio State. Let's talk about it, fellas. Let's talk about it.
I think I'm going to go on DraftKings and bet both of them to lose.
Dave, I can't believe it. Notre Dame is now becoming they're
likable. People like us.
Everyone likes Notre Dame. On? It's unbelievable.
We're the butt of every joke.
Now Marcus Freeman becomes the Bears coach.
Yeah. How can you not love Marcus Freeman? I mean, the guy
he's at Notre Dame, so that's one reason.
It's just, Dan, believe me, I'm with you. I mean, as we talked about when we were growing up, we had to watch. That was the only game on TV we could watch, for Christ's sakes, Notre Dame all the time.
The one thing I will say, the local coaches who have dealt with him all rave about him as a person.
Everyone loves him. Yeah.
Very honest. He will not BS you. He tell you he's straight. He's a straight shooter, and they all love him. Not one local guy who's dealt with him has had a bad word about him.
His defensive coordinator has done such a great job out there.
They've had some injuries.
Yeah.
Oh my
Our
God.
best quarterback's down. Benjamin Morrison got hurt, I believe, like week 8 or 9 of the season. So we've been playing the whole playoffs without him. He's a top, I want to say.
They're a linebacker injury away from Preston Zinter. Going in, starting.
I know. You know,
How about
it's
the linebacker having his 69th start for Notre Dame?
how about that? How about that?
69th start.
That kid, you know, he started. He was a year ahead of me at St. Paul's.
No, but Al Golden out there. Al Golden was a great player at Penn State, and then his first coaching job was at Boston College, and he's just he's a fantastic guy. And he took his lumps down to the University of Miami. Okay, pushed him out. This is like they pushed everyone out. Mario will be next. But he's really found himself, and I'm really happy for him because he's really one of the nice guys.
He coached at Temple too, didn't he?
He did a great job. Yeah, he was I believe he went back to Penn State and then took the Temple job. He was part of those guys that kept the Temple thing going.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, you know, he's at Notre. He was Lou's assistant at the Bengals, and he took over the Notre Dame defense. And he has done a fantastic job.
So, Mr. Insider, where's Lou going to wind up?
No, he's at Indianapolis tomorrow, Atlanta later in the week. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, every time he's got plenty of interviews. I mean, God, he can't come down and enjoy the weather down here. I don't know what's going to happen.
You know what bothers me with the Bengals? All right, if you get rid of him, fine. And then they're going to interview the Patriots guy? Are you freaking kidding me?
That was terrible. I saw that and I couldn't believe it.
Get what they deserve. It's crazy. All right, guys. Here we go. We are bringing in for our guest today one of the all-time greats from Belmont when I was coaching at Belmont High School. I coached Chris Shea back in the 80s. Chris went on, was a student assistant at Boston College. From there, coached and lived in our house in Watertown and coached at Harvard. Bounced while he was doing that, got his law degree, bounced around the NFL, Miami, Dallas, the Eagles, and now is at the Kansas City Chiefs as the senior vice president. Let's bring him in, Dame. Chris Shea. Let's go, Shea.
Thanks, Coach.
How are you, Chris?
I'm doing great, Danny. How are you?
Good, thank
Buddy,
you.
look at I wore my Andy Reid outfit.
There
How
you
do I
go.
look?
There you go.
Do I look like Reid?
Look at that. Look at that. You could be on our sidelines, Coach. Look at that. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. That's
You are
awesome.
the best.
Now I'm
Let me
getting nervous.
say-
He's gone to the second out. If he's got Chiefs underwear on, I'm leaving.
I'm gonna start the interview off with this, and then I'm dead serious when I say this, and I'm so proud of Chris, one of my favorite players of all time. Steve Spagnuolo. Spag's a friend of mine. He was down visiting. He was actually, Danny, he was looking in the neighborhood to maybe get a place down here. So we're shooting the breeze, and Chris's name comes up, and I said, Spags, how's Chris doing? And Spags stopped for a second. He looked out. He said, Chris Shea is the smartest guy in the NFL. I'm dead serious. God's honest truth. Crazy story. So, Chris, we're so happy to take your time to be with us, and this is really, really fun for us.
It's fun for me too, and those are kind words from Coach Spags. He's the best. Awesome to work with. It's funny. So we have, we're out here in the middle of the Midwest, but as you know, we've got this whole Boston contingent out here. You already have talked to Mike Borgonzi, my man, this year, and Spags, Joe Cullen, our D-line coach. We've got a lot of thick accents out here. It's pretty awesome.
One thing you touched on Mike Borgonzi. Certainly there's a lot of interest in him. As somebody who's worked with him, when you look as an executive, why is Mike such a hot commodity?
Well, I think deservingly so. He's getting a lot of attention in this general manager cycle for potential hires, as you alluded to. He's been here for 15 years. He's been through good times and bad. We've had tremendous success here. But he predates Coach Reid being here too. He was hired originally by Scott Pioli when Scott was the general manager here. He's had exposure to how the New England system that Bill Belichick and Scott had that was brought here 15 years ago of how to evaluate and draft players and build a team. And then when Coach Reed came here, he's worked for two different general managers, John Dorsey and Coach Reed brought different perspectives on how to build a team. But John was the GM when Coach was first here, came from Green Bay, so he has the whole Ron Wolf Green Bay Foundation and won a Super Bowl or two there, and then being around Brett Veach, Coach Reed, the whole like Philadelphia way of doing things was brought to Kansas City. So even though he's been here for 15 years, he's been exposed to all sorts of different ways of looking at players. Smart guy, obviously Everett went to Brown, had a background in finance, has a very sharp mind, really good evaluator. All those things are true. All the success he's been around is true, but he's also a really good person and works well with others, and that reputation precedes him. I think owners today are looking for, not to speak what they're looking for, but I get the sense they're looking for folks that can align and collaborate and communicate well with coaches and other folks in front offices. And Mike certainly does that. He's great at all those things. And bottom line, he's really good as a scout and evaluator, which is the key piece of the job.
Chris, you guys right now, I mean, I don't want to call it a dynasty. We're getting pretty damn close to it. There's the obvious things of why you're good and stuff like that. But I mean, when you look at the body of work, and I know you're involved in everything, you're involved with ops, you're involved with strategy, you're involved with personnel and stuff like that. Can you tell us a little bit about the blend and what you think separates the Chiefs from everyone else?
Well, so you were talking about a little bit, John. I've been lucky enough, Coach, to work for, I think this is my sixth NFL team. I've been in the front office, like in this, either scouting, salary cap, what have you, for 5 of those teams. I think more than any team I've been a part of, it starts with culture here. And I know that's a little bit of like a intangible thing that a lot of people throw around, but let me tell you what I mean. So I think more than any place I've been, the front office, the coaches, the support staff, we're all on the same page. We have less silos. We all are interacting as one huge integrated staff. Now it's the NFL, but this place reminds me more of a college staff than any place I've been. We have more people, but we're all on the same page. We talk to each other. We're the general manager, Brett Veach, and Andy Reid is the head coach. They break down the walls between people communicating, and we're constantly interacting. We all have different jobs, but we're all on the same page. And for instance, in the scouting side of things, in a lot of buildings, you have pro scouts and college scouts and cap guys and maybe analytics guys and coaches, and they all do their separate thing. And maybe they all have input that goes into just a couple decision makers. Well, here we have huge meetings where everybody's involved. We're meeting year round, and when the coaches are busy in season getting ready for opponents like now, maybe the front office is meeting, but pro, college, cap, analytics, all of us are in there together, all talking about players, watching film, debating things together. You'd be surprised how little that happens in the NFL. So I think like togetherness, communication, and everybody being in the involved on the same page and understanding how decision makers think has really been a huge part of why we're so successful. Of course, we've been very fortunate to have great players and make good draft picks, and the coaches are incredible. That's important too. But I think it all stems from the culture and being together.
Yeah, I think you touch on the culture. When you look at someone like Pat Mahomes, I mean, he doesn't lead the league in passing. He doesn't have this, but the one thing he leads the league in wins. From an outsider. I mean, when you talk about culture, I think it's that when your best player is willing, to sacrifice parts of his game in order to ensure winning. You talk about, how he's perceived there. Not just, I mean, we all know he's a great football player, but the intangibles.
His intangibles are as good as his tangibles. It's almost too good to be true, but it's real. Hardest worker in the building, first in, last out type of guy, always has been like that. His preparation is maniacal. Really has a interesting background because he grew up the son of a Major League Baseball pitcher. So he grew up around a professional athlete and how his dad prepared. Not to speak for him, but I think he'd probably tell you that had a huge foundational influence on him. He grew up in major league clubhouses, including the Red Sox for a brief period of time. He has a whole different approach, but his dedication to doing whatever it takes to win is the overriding theme of how he goes about his work in the building, on the practice field, in games. And he's adapted to whatever style of play best suits us in any given year. In 18, when he was the starter in his second year for the first time after we traded Alex Smith, who was a really good quarterback, to Washington, he ripped 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards. We've won a Super Bowl against the Eagles 2 years ago with a highly ranked offense, but he didn't throw a ball in the air over 20 yards in the Super Bowl that we won. And we just, people adapted to his strengths, sort of backed off the deep ball, gave him the underneath stuff. He took it. This year, we've been a ball control offense that is won with a running game and, really smart passing. And his numbers maybe suffered a little bit, but that's because we got injured at wide receiver. We adapted to what we had, and he does that. He's just a spectacular player. The coaches can really adapt to whatever our surrounding personnel skill set is because Patrick can, and still deliver wins. And our style of play this year, a lot of people make fun of it. We've been, and it's a little bit nerve-wracking because we've been in a lot of one-score games, but we've won a lot of those one-score games because he can adapt to the style of play we need him to adapt to, and he still delivers in critical moments. Third down, red zone, all that stuff. He's been great, and the stat sheet isn't what some of the other seasons he's had may have looked like, but it's been spectacular, and our record speaks for itself.
Chris, local guy. You already talked about the and don't forget Pat's Peduto, Chris.
Because Somerville. Here we go.
Guy.
He's not in the building every day. He's out on the road actually scouting all the time. Oh yeah.
Of course.
Belmont, Somerville, Everett, Quincy, and then we had Spat. I mean, we got everybody here. It's unbelievable.
Typical. You guys won't let the Salvo guy in the building. I mean, because he'd
he
steal everything. Because he would steal
guys. I'll tell him you said that. Oh, that's funny.
Hey, buddy, let's talk about one of the players you got as a local kid, Noah Gray. Tell us a little bit about him.
Noah's been a really good player for us. So we drafted him 3 drafts ago. This is his 4th season here. Leominster kid, went to Duke, was a good receiving tight end there. We had an opportunity to draft him on the 3rd day of the draft. We were very excited that we got him. Obviously we have Travis Kelce, who's arguably the greatest tight end of all time. He's certainly in that argument. But we had wanted to draft a tight end to develop as a number 2 tight end who can receive and block, and Noah's done all those things for us. He is a vital piece of our offense. He plays a ton, and he's been spelling Travis a lot during the regular season. So there are times where he's the only tight end on the field. We signed him to a 4-year extension here right before the season started, and we're certainly glad we did. He's been a very important piece of our passing game. He does all the dirty work, run blocking. I think he's a guy that with more opportunities will only be more productive. He's a very clutch player, super smart, typical, Central Mass kid, not a man of a lot of words, very smart though. Really hard worker, done a great job for us, and we're glad we have him here for the long haul.
He's a quarterback at Leominster, which is
that's right.
Kelsey was a quarterback, and Blake Bell, who I coached in the All-American game, I know he was. All your tight ends were quarterbacks.
We've had a really good run of having former quarterbacks converting to being tight ends that can be a big factor as receivers, and they're usually smart athletes, and all those guys. Noah and Blake in particular, we don't do quarterback sneaks here, so they still get under center every once in a while and sneak the ball. Noah's been great for us, and we're really glad we have him for the long run.
Danny, I'm going to double up. All right, you go
for it. Go for it.
All right, Chris. No salary cap involved. All right, no salary cap involved. we just took over the 51st state. We're in Canada, and we're gonna put a team in Montreal. You get the first overall pick. You can't pick a chief. Who's the first guy you pick to start a franchise with right now?
Oh, that's a great question.
Sorry, buddy. I kind of got you on that. I should have pre-upped.
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, yeah, that's hard. Look, I think the most important position in football is quarterback. And that's my personal belief. So it's like, pick one of the MVP guys. I mean, Josh Allen's amazing. Lamar Jackson's amazing. CJ Stroud, who we're playing this weekend, is a really good young quarterback who's emerging. I'm biased. I'd go with quarterback. Those two guys playing in the Buffalo-Baltimore game, though, it's like they're just amazing, special players. But what an age we live in, right? With some of these great young quarterbacks. Those guys, in our division, we have Herbert. Nick's had a good season. Daniels in the NFC. Like, there are tons of great players. But that's hard, John.
Sorry, buddy.
It's all right. But it's I'd pick a quarterback, but I'd probably pick one of those. If I can't pick a chief, I'm obviously biased. I'd have to pick one of those other MVP guys.
Now, you notice he put Stroud in there because they're playing him this weekend.
Well,
C.J. Stroud is a big fan of the Rant.
Yeah, well, he's also, that's right. Well, he's also, I can't help myself thinking about these younger players that are, he's got a bright future, year two. He's going to have a long career. He's a really good player. They're a good team. They're a really good team.
It's fair. Coach was with you at ground level. Is there anything that jumps out, from your early experiences with Coach, maybe something he may have said or something that the way he's interacted with people that has stayed with you through, I'd say, 4 decades?
There is a lot of Coach Pappas that has stayed with me through 4 decades, including a few blows to the head when I was the nose tackle in the defensive huddle. He was screaming at us in practice, banging on the back of my helmet. But yeah, I'm trying to, so it's fun. I actually coach for John too. So there's a little intermingling between playing and coaching, but ultimately I think the biggest thing I took out of my time as a football player at Belmont is just work ethic. Hard work pays off, paying attention to details, all that stuff. These are lessons learned early, and I started football having no idea what I was doing. And, the work the coaches put in at Belmont to just have us focus on our craft, like all those little lessons on the practice field stick with me more than anything else. The other thing that I think I learned from John early on is we're throwing the football wherever we are. So I've always had an affinity for the passing game. It's kind of followed me around, and I think we were a run and shoot, John, back when we were in high school, and just the sophistication that we had as a high school offense in that passing game. It just always stuck with me about how it's a core piece of my philosophy that quarterback's the most important position, period, and the passing game's really important. And that's only amplified as I've gotten into the pros. But all the stuff that you taught us back in the 80s, these are still lessons that I'm carrying forward in terms of X's and O's, how to evaluate players, looking at players. But really, the fundamentals of, work hard, keep grinding, pay attention to the small stuff. That's all stuff that I brought with me into all the different things I've done from my time with John as the head coach at Belmont.
One other thing I was going to ask you now, when you're evaluating a player, what does a college guy have to have in order for the Chiefs to even consider drafting him? What is the 1 or 2 intangibles they absolutely have to have?
Well, it's funny you say intangibles. That's where I'm going. So, a guy can have all the ability in the world, but if he does not have the intangible makeup or character to work hard and succeed here in our environment, we have a this is a little bit probably like New England was with Coach Belichick and when they were having all their success. We have a high standard here, and we have a culture that we expect players to fit into. If a player isn't wired to be a good teammate and work hard and be receptive to coaching, those are things that can be fatal flaws in players. And we certainly try to steer ourselves toward drafting players with those sorts of traits. So from an intangibles perspective, that's what we look for. And of course, the tangibles make a difference too. There are only so many players that can play in the NFL, much less here. But if you just don't have the wiring to begin with, you're fighting an uphill battle. And when we've had failures in player acquisition, it's usually been that there's something missing in the person more than the player.
Well, and you guys like really fast guys too.
We have a type, John. We like speed. Yeah. We like, generally speaking, certainly on offense, we like speed, but defense too, on the skill side. Yeah. So if you have the makeup and you're fast, there's a good chance you're high up on our board.
Well, buddy, you've done an unbelievable job out there, helping build, like I said, a franchise that, is on the verge of being a dynasty. I know as soon as Vrabel got the job, the Belmont chain was going back and forth about possibly getting you down here to run the front office. But I know you're in a really good position out there. Hey, we appreciate you taking your time, Chris. We really do. And good luck the rest of the way, obviously. Excited about another possibility of Coach Shea going to this would be a fourth ring.
If we were fortunate enough to get through and win another one, this would be my fourth ring with the Chiefs. I left the Eagles right after the draft, the year they won the Super Bowl, so I just missed out on another one. But and we've been, of course, we lost Brady in the Tampa Super Bowl. But yeah, so this would be the fourth win and the fifth one we went to here in the last 6 years. It would be special. So I'm hoping.
Well, Chris, as a long-suffering Lions fan, don't you think you've had a monopoly on these rings? I mean, they got to weigh your fingers down. You could leave 1 year, one for the Lions. I mean, you've got enough rings, don't you?
Well, so I have a lot of respect for those guys. I actually worked, and John knows this, I worked with Coach Campbell and a bunch of his assistants in Miami. They're awesome. Root for them almost all the time. But, I can get pretty selfish with collecting rings.
With good reason.
At least one more right now, and I'll say even more in the future. So we'll see. Hey, but they're a great team.
Well, you've earned all of them.
Danny, I got to leave Chris with this quick story.
Sure,
so
go
every year he's the greatest. He comes back and we get the Belmont guys together. And we go to Donahue's in Watertown.
Yeah.
So we go to Donahue's and Sherry is there with her buddy on the other side of the bar, right? Chris brings in the rings with him, right?
Oh.
I'm gonna share a picture with you, Dave. I got the NFL ring, I got the Super Bowl rings, I got the conference chip, we got the rings and everything else. And Sherry's like, hey, Watertown's right in the Brighton line, Danny. She's like, hey,
you gotta be careful.
Goes, you better be careful. You don't know who's looking. I said, listen.
Today's rings could be on eBay tomorrow.
That's right. Absolutely.
Donahue's. Oh, my God.
My cousin JD's bar. How about that? It's all in the family. We're all related up there. It's one way or another, right?
Chris, you are the absolute greatest. I'll tell you what. Sherry says hello. The whole Pappas family says hello. We're so proud of you, buddy.
Time. I know, during this time of the season, it's always busy. We really appreciate it.
Glad to do it, fellas. Thank you so much. Thanks, Coach. Talk to you
soon.
Bye-bye. Bye. Dave, I got to get you the picture with the rings.
I got to see that picture. That's hilarious.
I don't think he was on board with my idea of leaving a ring.
Yeah, no, he did not. He's not
just saying.
Had to get it in there. You had to get it in there.
I was just asking.
Yeah, no, it's worth asking. It's definitely worth asking.
It'll be very interesting because he's close to Johnson, Ben Johnson. So I don't know. I mean, he's in the greatest situation. He is working for a franchise that, number one, is unbelievably successful. Number two, they're all good guys. I mean, raves about Andy Reid.
To me, I like winning. I mean,
I love winning. You're all about winning.
Does it mean leaving some money on the table to win? Oh, I'm leaving the money. I like to win.
Yeah, we are well aware. We are well aware of that. All right, Danny, let's go. What we got? A rant first? Let's rant.
I'm going off the board here. I'm going after the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Jared, it wasn't much to like last year. one of the things that was nice to like was Jared Duran, who emerged into, I thought it was a top 10 player in the American League. You know, a guy you want to build your team around. Now he's eligible for arbitration. They're nickel and diming him over $500,000. I mean, come on. Your owner is worth what, $6 or $7 billion.
He's the
To
worst.
curry good favor with one of your best young players, you're going to irritate him by trying to stiff him for 500 G's. Come on.
He
John
is
Henry's
the,
the
John
worst.
Henry
He's
is
the worst
Pitiful,
owner in
pitiful.
Boston.
worst.
Terrible.
I swear to God. You know what? I don't know about you guys, but when I go to a Red Sox game, we're like, Danny, when we were kids, you go in, you see the guys from Brighton, the guys from Watertown, all that stuff. You go to a Red Sox game, you don't see any local people.
Nothing.
Great. It's nothing because it's a fucking tourist attraction now. And that's the way he treats it. It makes me sick. I'm with you.
It's not the most beloved ballpark in America.
No, that's bullshit. It's unbelievable. All right, I'm going off the same thing. I don't know if it's political or not, but Jesus God, I mean, I feel so bad for all those California people. It's unbelievable, and I know we all send our regards to the folks in California. We have friends, we have relatives out there, and everything else. But how, in God's name, could they get in a situation where they had no water? I mean, again, I'm not a political guy. I have no idea. But someone's got to take the fall for this thing. They had reservoirs that were empty for 15 years. They're turning fire hydrants on. No water is coming out. It makes me absolutely sick. It sucks.
It's almost what you hear from third world countries. These type of stories.
It is
This
just
shouldn't happen here.
California, like the most wealthiest state, can't have water. It's crazy.
And I'm going to sound like a proud Floridian, and I'm a masshole too, of course, like the rest of us. But let me tell you something. When we have a hurricane down there, we got shitload of them. The FEMA's in right away. We're on it with this. We are built to build up again.
Yep.
That state, I feel terrible for those. I mean, they were bulldozing cars, just bulldozing them off the road today. It was just crazy. Anyways, that's my rant. That's what we do. We rant. All right, Danny, let's go positive. Shut it out, baby.
I'm gonna go on the local hoop scene. Marshfield's got a coach, Bob Fisher, who is either 82 or 83. He became the second male coach to win 700 games. Wow. There are coaches who are hanger-ons, looking for numbers. This guy is crazy. I mean, 83. All I can say is if I'm fortunate enough to get to that age, and I have half the energy he has, I'm signing off on it. The guy still has great passion. He's up and down the sideline. He's a treat to watch. The kids still respond to him. He knows the game inside out. I mean, God bless him. I hope he stays another 83 years.
He's Bobby. He's unbelievable. When I was over at Bentley, he was running his basketball camp stuff. So I got to know Fish. You hit it right in the head, Danny. I mean, he's a legend. And his energy at this age is just something that it's infectious. You know what I mean? So I love your shout out. And you said, well, we got to get him on the show, but if we get on the show, it's going to have to go from 1 hour to 2 hours.
He could be right there.
We'll bring him on.
We'll call it a special.
Yeah, we'll call it special. My shout out goes back to the NFL, and I'm so happy about this. Steve Spagnuolo grew up in Grafton, Massachusetts. He's one of our own, went to Springfield College, and is literally, if you get a chance, it was a great article about him and his wife Maria in the Athletic back in December. Just Google it and read it. He's just the salt of the earth. And he's literally got a chance of being the first assistant coach to make it to the NFL Hall of Fame because of his great success. Well, he's got 2 interviews. I think the Jets and I think the Raiders coming up and everything else. And I am so excited. He had one shot when it was the St. Louis Rams. It was a bad organization. We talk about it all the time.
That'll kill you.
And the poor guy went down. He's resurrected his career. He's the greatest guy. He's 65 years old. He's interviewing for jobs. I hope he gets one. But my shout out goes to Steve Spagnuolo. Great guy, great coach.
Great guy.
All right. Dame, what are you doing? Who are you shouting out? Your girlfriend at Michigan? You want to shout her out? Huh?
She is at Michigan. She did go back to school.
All right. Well, next week we'll let you shout her out. All right. Wait, listen. We are flying. We are going. We are rocking and rolling. A lot of football this weekend, fellas. Good Saturday, Sunday, and Monday night, the national championship game. All right?
Whether I'm here next Tuesday depends on what happens this weekend.
The entire state of Massachusetts is rooting for the Lions purely because of you, my friend.
All right.
We are, Danny.
Let's go.
I'll take it.
Until next week, guys. Goodbye.
Take care, everyone.
All right,
Hey, guys.
enjoy.